What's going on, everybody? It is Sunday morning. Hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. We've been pretty busy out here, so it's definitely taking my mind off some crap in life and getting some stuff done. So that's exciting in itself. I got to talk to a few of my RC buddies yesterday, so that was really cool. We got a few things in the works that we're going to do a little testing and practicing and stuff like that. So really exciting to turn some laps. But today is model cars and coffee. So we got a little bit of everything here. Thanks for tuning back in. And if you're not aware, my name is Jason. This is my channel. I've been having fun with this channel. That's what it's all about, right? Just having a good time, having fun. I've met a lot of great people on here. And it's definitely, with some of the stuff that's happened in the last year with life, you definitely start to cherish people that come into your life that really are true friends and true family and true brotherhood. So I can honestly say that I have made some really good friends through the YouTube community, and I cherish all those relationships and all the ones that we chat with, and it's just been phenomenally great. So not to mention, you know, your friends and stuff that are local to you. So you got to just make time for everybody. But anyhow, enough rambling. Let's show you what we got. Well, kind of what you can see what we're doing right now. That's why we're kind of doing this video. Is over here on this computer, we're designing some stuff to get cut out of vinyl. That's from my brother. And then I'm working on some Mopar stuff over here. Got a new file pack, and it's got a 6-pack setup in it. So really cool. That is from Scale Speed Garage. And so we're going to print a couple of these off. I know what I want to put it on right now. So we're going to put this intake setup and this carb setup on a motor that we've already got. I'm going to see if this intake and carb will fit on the original block without printing the block as well. Just to whip it out real quick and see what we got going. And then we'll have all 3 printers running and the vinyl cutter. So let's get over to the other bay here. I'll show you real quick. We've got the 1 printer running, and we'll go over to the other bay and we'll show you where we're at on the tractor from yesterday. So hang on real quick. All right, since we've got you flipped around here, so here's my closet basically in the back side of the shop. You can see we got 1 printer running right now for the remaining pieces, the body shell and stuff for another large tractor. We're going to get that one going, and then the vinyl plotter is over here, so we got to get that thing fired up too. So while we're doing that, once we get those things up and going, I figure we'll come over here and we'll get back on some of this RC stuff. So you can see here we got a heck of a mess. We're going to cycle some of these batteries to go do some laps. So we've got chargers are fired up. We're going to start cycling some more packs. We started tearing into this truck. We've got some parts coming for this. We've got a new style body coming for this that we'll have to paint. So we're going to try the Kaleido paints on the Lexan body, and we're going to then test them to see if they'll stay on there as you bump and roughhouse around in a racing format, because you know, rubbin's racing, and we'll see how the paint sticks to the Lexan. I don't know. I think it's going to do pretty good, but the only way to tell is to find out. So we've got a little bit of a mess going on everywhere. We got to rebuild that truck as well. That's going to be our base mark to see what this truck here can do versus I know what kind of lap times this one kind of does with that setup, but we got to clean the bearings and top off the shocks, and then get the tires all cut and put it on the scales and scale it out, because you have a certain percentage that you want for cross weight from your right front to your left rear. And so we got to get that all scaled out, and then we'll do the same on that. So that's going to be a couple week process. But anyhow, over here we've got a good mess going on too. We've been busy. We've been very busy. You can see we've got a bunch of parts painted over here. There's the frame from yesterday, the motor, and there's the body shell. So what I figured I'll show you is kind of what I did to come up with this color. So let me set this camera down and then I can show you. Alrighty, now we got this camera set down and you're not getting all dizzy and nauseous from me. Here's the body shell. We had this thing in primer black with Duplicolor primer. I like using the Duplicolor primer. I have not tried the Kaleido stuff because I have not purchased that yet. So I don't know if you can see the tape line, but we've got a tape line in there already. We got this gold by mixing. Basically what we ended up doing was silver and the flashy gold. We mixed these two paints and we've got this really nice, it almost looks like brass, and that's really kind of what I was shooting for, was a real bright gold, but it still got a nice depth to the gold in the light. So very happy with that. Initially I told you yesterday I was going to mix it with the aluminum. I shot the aluminum on the motor for this tractor, and now I got to put a varnish on there and then I can detail it. But I love the way the aluminum looks. The aluminum is really phenomenal color by Kaleido. But I realized as I shot this that this was not going to be a bright enough silver to dilute my gold, that flashy gold. And because this flashy gold's got a really nice, like an orangey hue to it. And so this silver is much brighter. So what I did was I mixed them. I threw the other cup away, so I just marked this one so you could see it. You wouldn't have seen it that well. Basically, I wanted 0.5 milliliters of paint. So I filled the first line here. You can see that. I filled that up to the gold. Then I put the silver to the second line. And then from the second to the third, I filled with thinner. And then I put 8 drops of the Kaleido retarder thinner in it. And this stuff sprayed remarkable. So another 50-50 ratio. And basically on the paint side, it was a 50-50 ratio. And then 8 drops of the retarder. And as you can see, this stuff laid out beautifully. I mean, it is flat. It dried really fast. We shot this thing late last night, and within, I'd say 20 minutes, I could touch it and move it around. Just phenomenal paint, really. The whole chemical compound of how you mix this stuff, and by me, mixing it like I would with automotive paint, the paint responds just the way I would expect from your high dollar automotive paint. So I'm very impressed with it. I'm excited to get to today. We're gonna do some more masking and we're gonna shade the next color in there. And that will kind of match with the stickers that we've picked out of another kit. And it's gonna be a phenomenal tractor. Now, the other thing we did last night, and I don't know how well the camera's gonna pick up on the hue, but you can see that hue in the roll bars there when the light moves a little bit. Maybe the camera won't, of that goldish. So this here has now got the clear varnish on it. We put the Kaleido varnish, and I sprayed that 100%. There was probably, I would say, 6 to 8 drops of the retarder in with the acrylic varnish, and that's all I did was mix those, and this stuff laid out really cool. This is the first time I've used the gloss varnish, and it's beautiful. It actually came out better than I was expecting, so it looks phenomenal. I'm gonna go in here now and do my torque tube and my drive shaft tube here and my rear end, we'll do some brush painting on that, and we'll probably do a little bit of weathering here on the front and on the hitch part here. And take this clip off. We can do some weathering on there to make it look like the the hookup of the sled is kind of chipped the paint, but this thing is really coming out phenomenal. Very, very happy with that. Oh, okay, so the other thing, this clear, the varnish we shot, we used the GHAD 39 brush for that. And for the paint, I went to my trigger brush, and this is my favorite trigger brush. This is the GHAD 68. I still prefer this over the swallowtail. I'm not a fan of the swallowtail, and maybe my swallowtail has got some defect in it. I've had it apart a couple times. I've looked for burrs. I do not like the swallowtail as much as I like this guy here. So again, for me, the Gallery mid-tier to lower line brushes seem to be working the best compared to their high-tier stuff. So this brush here is very affordable, this trigger brush. This is my go-to as far as the Gallery trigger brushes go, and that's what we use to spray this gold. Like I said, I am very ecstatically happy with that, and basically it's a 50-50 mix of your metal silver and your metal flashy gold with a mixture, another 50% basically of the retarder and the thinner. You can get this in a bigger bottle. I recommend buying that in a bigger bottle, and this is working out phenomenal. Loving this paint. So let me flip this thing back around. Alrighty, that's going to be another Model Cars and Coffee, I think. I hope you're liking this information. People have asked for the way I do stuff. Like I said, this is what's working for me. It doesn't mean it's going to work for you, but people want certain technical information on what I'm doing. Like I said, I like to test things. That's part of the reason why I work for an R&D lab too. We test a wide range of stuff that you would not imagine we would test on the units that we have at work. So I do that with race cars. I do that with these products, and I'm telling you right now, even with the small amount of support that I do get from Gallery, I would tell you the truth if the product sucked. I'm sold on the paints. The paints are phenomenal. Like I said, the pigment is great. The colors are great. I hope they come up with more of some more different colors and different tones and hues. That would be great. I would love to see them come out with like a candy line. That would be amazing. It'd also be cool if they provide a brushable jar style or whatever too. We'll see what they come up with. Only time can tell. They're definitely investing into the hobby, into the modeling stuff. And we're going to try the paints next on a Lexan body like this right here. And we're going to see how the paints work and how they stick to Lexan. So really curious to see how that works. Again, I like the cheaper grade. Their lower tier airbrushes are my favorite. I know people there. I got some comments yesterday or some messages about 30 pounds is too much air pressure. I knew that was coming my way. I'm telling you right now, I've tested all the air pressures. Trust me, you got to find what works for you. It's no different than a milling machine or a CNC. Your feed rate versus your spindle speed is crucial. Same thing here. What your distances and how fast your strokes are moving back and forth across your product is going to dictate what that air pressure works the best. I've been from 10 to 15 all the way to 40 psi with all these brands of brushes. So I have a very good idea of what I'm looking for when it sprays out of a gun and how it's atomizing in the air. So just going to leave it at that. One other thing that I gotta private message about was the primering on the 3D printed bodies, because you get the little layer lines in there. The best thing to do is to try and minimize the layer lines as much as possible in what your layer height is on your printer settings and how you rotate or position the part on the platform on when it prints up. Being that you're only on a Z axis, you can rotate the part in trying to minimize some of those things to where it's less work you'd have to do. Now, I haven't done a car body, but for these tractor bodies, I've been able to put a couple of good filler coats of the Duplicolor primers on there, put 2 of them on there, and then I wet sand that. Now, when I say wet sand, I use strictly water. You do not want to put soap in the water to lubricate. You just let the water keep the paper unclogged, to let it cut better. And then you ain't got no problems with waxy situations with the paint not sticking. When you're cutting and polishing clear or enamel paint, you can use the soap in there because it doesn't matter. You're going to put a rubbing compound, you're going to put wax on there to bring the shine back out. But with the primer, just go pure water. It cuts a lot faster, keeps the paper from wadding up, and don't go past 400 grit. Generally, I'm in the 280 to 320 range. You want a little texture in your primer sand because then your base coat's going to stick to it. These guys that like to polish their primer generally are the ones that when they go to paint it and then tape it off and then go pull the tape for the next color, is the paint's coming off because the primer and the paint are not sticking together. When you polish your primer, it's pretty much got nowhere for the paint to stick. So remember that. But that's what I do. So I'll block it. You'll see all the high spots come out, on the primer. And then from there, once that's blocked, then I'll rinse it off with water. I'll let it dry, and then I'll throw another coat of the Duplicolor primer on there, let that dry good, and then I'm ready for my base, providing that looks smooth. So it's been very simple with the layer line issues. I'm not like sanding the resin and making a big old mess. I try to do a minimum sanding on the resin just because it's you don't want to breathe in that powder, even though I have a little fingernail suction filter to sand resin parts, but I still don't want to be doing all that sanding if I don't have to. Let's see, what else was asked upon? I think that was pretty much it. Like I said, just use some common sense and always use your PPE, whether you're sanding resin parts or sanding painted parts. If you're very sensitive to that, have a well ventilated area. Use the paint booth if you're indoors. If you're outdoors, you're good to go. A lot of people like to paint outdoors, and I totally understand that. In the summertime, I usually pop open the big door and then I'll shoot over there. So I have another line for the air compressor that is over on that corner of the shop, and I will shoot out there all the time. So I like that too. Nice thing about painting outside, my buddy Paul would probably confirm on this too, is especially if it's a nice sunny day, you start shooting the paint on there and you just see your color just go poof, and it's just, yeah, this is a good choice. So I love it. I think that's going to do it. I'm going to get back to work. I want to get some stuff done here. I hope you're going to get something done today. If not, get out there and do something. Get one thing done today. If you do one thing every day, that's 365 things you get done in a year. That's the way I look at it. So I'm out of here. Have a good rest of your weekend. Peace out, everybody. Goodbye.